So I'm trying to think what my first experience of the seminar was, and I'm convinced I was at the first one, which was at Sound on Leicester Square, because I can just specifically remember Matt Ross, or meeting Matt Ross, who at the time was head of marketing, I think, for Columbia, and just thinking what an absolute legend he was. And I used to look at some people like Matt Ross and just think, man, that's what I want to be, because he was just so on it, so knowledgeable. He had relationships with the UK, but the biggest US acts as well, like through history of whether it be the Fugees or Beyonce, or he was Maxwell. I remember he was in there. He was the guy, the go-to guy for the Americans in the UK, and just seeing him on the stage kind of made me realise how serious the seminar was because of someone of his stature being there. So I think that was my first memory. I met Jazzy B at one of the seminars, who I ended up, he ended up, we worked together, we built a small business together. And I can always remember seeing Ferdy, like seeing a heavyweight panel of like Darkus, Ferdy, Matt Ross, Clive Black, and all these kind of industry legends up on the panels, being bombarded by frustrated kids, really, who were trying to, at that time, understand why certain genres of music were being supported and why certain genres weren't being supported, and really, putting them through the mill. I always remember kind of laughing and thinking, wow, this is serious, because these guys are face on with an audience who are, like not holding back. I also always remember the Be Inspired panels, which were really like informative, because you had like, again, really experienced industry people by themselves on stage with Kwame, with the mic, just having a proper conversation for an hour and involving the audience, and people asking really good, relevant questions, and really learning stuff about the behind the scenes of the business. Because when you look at the business, and it looks, especially back in those days, it looked very flash and loads of money flying around and the whole stardom thing. And then when you really got into the core of it and started to really learn about the nuts and bolts of the business, and I just remember kind of being a bit blown away that how can you have this much access to these people? This is brilliant. The way I think it helped me was just to give me, a lot more information into the machinery behind the music business. So you start to piece it together, because I remember trying to get into the business and not really knowing anyone, not really knowing anything apart from the music business. Looks really cool, I love music, love artistry, I want to be involved. To go into the seminar and then being educated, like I said, on what actually is going on behind the scenes, and the stress part about it, and these guys who have been doing it for many years, and giving you that kind of backdrop of actually behind this there is actually a business and how it works. And it helped me massively in piecing together. I used to have this blue book that I used to write all the names down of anyone that I'd meet in the business or come across, and then what their job title was. And then obviously going to the seminar, you can stand in front of people who did that job title, and then they were talking about what that involved. So then I was making notes. So I actually started to piece together like a map of the industry, marketing, sales, A&R, and actually then get a descriptive breakdown of what that meant. So by the time I actually ended up getting a job in the business, I knew what the structure was. I knew, okay, I didn't know everything about those roles, but publishing, how many people really know what publishing is? You could sit in a seminar for an hour and then you've got a grasp of at least the different bodies and organizations, and you're starting to get educated. So by the time I got a job in the business, I was pretty clear, at least on the structure of the industry as a whole. So now Lateral is a publishing, management, recording company. So we publish Class Ireland, who's had hits for Katy Perry and Kesha. We published The Arcade, who did Fancy for Iggy. I'm just trying to think who we published that's the big ones. John and Michelle, who did the Swedish House Mafia stuff. We've got a bunch of Swedes, but we've got a successful publishing company now. I think it's massively important that people who went to the seminar, who've actually managed to become, you know, reasonably successful in the industry, should go back and help to educate kids coming forward, not only because of the education for us as industry people, because when you sit in front of a different generation who are kind of innocently maybe not as well educated about the industry as you are, they still come out with stuff that's gems that you wouldn't even think about, because they're not thinking within parameters that we are already thinking within. So I think for us it's really important because we get that education, but I think it's important for them as well, because not only do they get the education, but I think if you can do it and give the two sides. So you give the side that is the serious, stressful, hard side, but you can describe the upsides as well, and the stuff that you do that's really, really fun, and the give them inspiration that it's worth it, because this is a very tough business to get into, and it's a tough business to be successful in, and it's just a tough business to earn money in now anyway, because when I got back in, money was coming in abundance. It's not that industry anymore. It might change. We're looking, hopefully there's going to be an upside to that. But if I think about what I've had to go through to get to where, you know, I am now, and I'm kind of still at I still think I'm at the starting blocks. I look at other people who are right up there, and I just think, wow, what I've had to get to get to that. I mean, you need to be pretty inspired to put yourself through that. So I think they need people who are going to sit there and go, yeah, this is a serious business, it's tough, but it's also fantastic, you know, and you get to work with really creative people. You can financially do well, you can make a difference, and I think that's really important, so that we do have a generation of people who are coming through and want to be in the business. I think people who want to be in the music business should attend the seminar, because I think it just again, based on my own experience, is that it's very, very hard to get information, real information, and get a real picture for how this industry is put together. It's a creative industry on one hand, and it's obviously still a business, but it's like the intricacies, the maze, the labyrinth that puts together the music industry is super hard to unravel. And you're kind of giving yourself, you know, a fast forward by going to the seminar, because you're going to have people that have done it, they've been there, they've done it for 25, 30 years, and they're going to give you, cut straight through all the ups and downs that they've had, all the lessons that they've had to learn. You're going to get firsthand a fast track to the real information that you need. So I think future predictions for me, for the music industry, is that I hope there's going to be a real upside now with streaming, and people, the public, getting herded into a way that they're going to respect and treat music and the buying of music or the subscribing to music with respect, so that the industry can benefit financially, which will only then therefore give us more investment in artist development. Because I think that the shift from artist development the last 5 years plus has kind of gone, but I think it's coming back, because I think management companies, publishing companies have started to take it on board themselves that they have to do that. And also I think the majors are starting to realise where they sit. Is Universal Records, you know, Warner Records, EMI, are these companies going to be around in 10 years, or is it going to be part of Google? Is it going to be part of Apple? We don't know. That's going to be interesting. I think it's going to turn out a little bit more like the movie industry, where you have these massive marketing houses, you know, that deal with the huge spend on marketing and the distribution. But you'll have a lot of boutique, legendary pictures. You'll have a lot of the smaller studios, management companies, that are actually doing the signing, the developing, the first EP, the second EP even, then it goes up the pipeline to the big cheeses. That's what I think is going to happen. Hi, my name's Jamie Binns. I am a music seminar graduate, and I think now that I've made some contribution to the music business from my early beginnings at the music seminar. But I would urge you to attend so that you can get the education that I had, giving you the knowledge to give you the best shot at succeeding in this business.